Hi friends, I'm Nagjyoti, working as an assistant professor in Department of ECE in St. Peter's Engineering College. And we are going to discuss a course of linear IC applications of Unit 4. So the complete Unit 4 deals with a 555 timer and how a 555 timer can be operated in different modes and what are the applications of a 555 timer. So in this session, let us discuss about the modes of operation of a 555 timer. So the 555 timer can basically operated in two different modes of operation. One is a stable multi-vibrator and the second one is monostable multi-vibrator. So here let us start a discussion with an astable multi-vibrator. Astable multi-vibrator is also called as free running multi-vibrator, in which it consists of two quasi-stable states. So here quasi-stable state itself indicates depending upon RC values, it automatically changes its states from lower value towards a higher value. So if we observe this is a pin diagram of a stable multi-vibrator. So in order to use 555 timer as an unstable multi-vibrator, pin number 6 and pin number 2 should be shorted. So here pin number 2 is a trigger and pin number 6 is a threshold voltage. So trigger and threshold both should be connected to a common point, and from that common point we need to connect a potential divider network of two resistors values and a capacitance values. So if a structure in which 555 timer pin number 2 and 6 are shorted, then such a circuit is called as a stable multi-vibrator. So in order to understand the operation of an unstable multi-vibrator, let us see what is a functional diagram of an unstable multi-vibrator. From the functional diagram, we can derive in frequency as well as timing calculations. So this is a functional diagram of an unstable multi-vibrator. So initially, let assume that the output voltage of this circuit is equivalent to 0. If output is 0, that is pin number 3 is 0 and it is connected through an inverter, that itself indicates Q bar is equivalent to 1. If Q bar is equivalent to 1, the transistor will be in the on state and the voltage is going to be passed through, that is the capacitor now starts charging through R1 and R2. So once the capacitance values is going to be charged in the previous thing, that is initial value of capacitance is equivalent to 0, and similar to that of the 555 timer, here comparator 1 is an upper comparator and comparator 2 is a lower comparator. So in order to make comparator 1 is equivalent to 1, the voltage at that corresponding input terminal should be greater than that of 2 by 3 VCC. Similarly, in order to make comparator 2 is equivalent to 1, the voltage should be less than 1 by 3 VCC. So, as the capacitance is charging initially, that is the capacitance value is less than 1 by 3 VCC. So if capacitance is less than 1 by 3 VCC will be having the comparator 2 is equivalent to 0. If comparator 2 is equivalent to 0, represents S is equivalent to 0. If S is equivalent to 0, whatever may be the R value, Q bar is equivalent to 0. Q is equivalent to 1. So, depending upon this Q bar value, the transistor will be either in the on state or in the off state. Now, let us assume that as the capacitor is start charging through R1 and R2, the voltage across the capacitance is increasing linearly. If the capacitance value is increasing, that is, it is now getting into a positive value of less than 1 by 3. If it is less than 1 by 3, again comparator 2 will be 0 and S will be equivalent to 1. So output is equivalent to 1. Now if let me assume that the capacitance values is greater than 1 by 3 less than 1 by 3 VCC and the capacitance value is in between 1 by 3 VCC and 2 by 3 VCC. So as it is in between 1 by 3 VCC and 2 by 3 VCC, both the comparators will be equivalent to 0. So if R is equivalent to 0, S is equivalent to 0, it will continue in the previous state. Now let me assume that if the previous state is 1, the transistor is on and the capacitor is continuously going to be charged. Now as it is continuously charging, now the capacitance voltage may be greater than 2 by 3 VCC. So once the capacitance reaches greater than 2 by 3 VCC, comparator 1 will be equivalent to 1, comparator 2 will be equivalent to 0. If comparator 1 is equivalent to 1, that itself indicates reset is 1. Whatever may be the set value, if reset is 1, output is equivalent to 0. That is Q is equivalent to 0. Now the capacitor Q bar will be equivalent to 1 as it is increasing greater than 2 by 3 VCC. Now Q bar will become 0. So the transistor will be in the off state. Once the transistor is in the off state, whatever the capacitance till now, what is the charge which is present on the capacitor, now it starts discharging through a resistance path of R2. So here the capacitance is charging through R1 and R2, but the capacitance is going to be discharged only through R2. So the time taken for charging of the capacitor is R1 plus R2 into C. Similarly, for the discharging, it is R2 into C. This is how the output voltage is automatically changing from one value to the other value without applying any external voltage or a trigger pulse. That is the reason a stable multivibrator is also called as free running multivibrator. Without applying any external voltage, it is automatically changing its state. So while charging, the capacitor is charging through both the resistances R1 and R2. The charging time is R1 plus R2 into C, but whereas the discharging time is R2 into C. So the capacitor is always charging in between two levels, that is 1 by 3 VCC to 2 by 3 VCC. The time taken for the capacitor to move 1 by 3 VCC to 2 by 3 VCC is called as charging time. Similarly, the time taken for the capacitor to move from 2 by 3 VCC to 1 by 3 VCC is called as discharge time. So from these waveforms we can directly say the formula for the duty cycle is on period by total period. That is duty cycle is equivalent to T on by total period time. Here T on is nothing but charging time and total time period is charging plus discharging. So here charging is 0.693 into R1 plus R2 into C and discharging is 0.693 into R2C. So overall time period is charging plus discharging. If we substitute these values in the formula of duty cycle, we'll be getting T equal to 0.693 into R1 plus R2 into C. If we want to calculate in terms of percentage, just multiply with 100. Similarly, as we know that the relation between time and frequency are inversely related, the time is equivalent to 0.693 into R1 plus R2 and frequency is 1 by T, which is equivalent to 1.4 into R1 plus 2R2 into C. This is how to calculate a duty cycle as well as frequency calculation of an astable multi-vibrator. Now let us go for the next one, which is a monostable multi-vibrator. So this is the pin diagram of monostable multi-vibrator in which discharge pin and threshold pin are shorted and it is connected through a resistance and capacitance. But whereas in case of an unstable, pin number 2 and 6 are shorted. In case of monostable, 6 and 7 are shorted. So here the difference between the previous astable and monostable is, in case of a monostable, for the trigger pin number 2, that is for trigger, we are applying an external trigger pulse and this external trigger pulse should be applied of negative voltage, that is negative supply, so that how much time we are applying this pulse, that much time it is in the same state. Once the trigger has been released off, it automatically moves the previous state towards the next state. That is, in this case, it consists of one stable state and one quasi-stable state. So, whenever you are applying trigger, then only it is moving from one to other. If we are not applying any trigger pulse, it will be continuing its state in the same state. So in this case, let the trigger pulse is less than 1 by third of VCC. So the comparator 2 will be is equivalent to 1. If comparator 2 is equivalent to 1, S is 1. That is, set is equivalent to 1, which represents Q is 1 and Q bar is 0. If Q bar is 0, the transistor will be in the off state, which will give high input impedance. So the voltage will be passing through the R and C. So the time taken for the capacitance to charge to the maximum value depends upon these R and C values. These are the waveforms for a monostable multivibrator. So the first one is trigger pulse. Whenever we are applying a negative trigger pulse, then only the capacitor is going to be start its charging. Once it reaches to the maximum value, if you are not applying any trigger pulse, it will be continuing in the same state until and unless it will change its state only when we are applying an external triggering pulse. So in case of a monostable multivibrator, the output will not be a perfect square wave. That is the reason instead of calculating a duty cycle, here we are calculating a pulse width. Means for how much time the capacitor is going to be charged is called as an pulse width. So we know that the voltage across the capacitor is given by VCC into 1 minus e power minus t by RC. So when the capacitor voltage is 2 by 3 VCC, just substitute VC in terms of 2 by 3 VCC and simplify those values so that you will be getting T is equivalent to 1.098 RC. That is, the width of this depends upon the R and C values of a circuit. This is how a 555 timer can be operated in astable as well as monostable modes.